Hey everyone, Afrodo Reviews here, and I'm coming at you today with another Booktube tag. Again, trying to do this more often. I even got my Herbology t-shirt on, which has kind of unofficially become my Booktube tag t-shirt, I think. Don't worry, the next one will have something different, I promise. But, today, I'm going to be doing a Booktube tag known as the How Do We Rate Our Books tag. I first saw it on the Jessie Book Girl TV channel. The book, this tag was created by Emily at Novelle Novels. However, Jess Book Girl TV saw it on Book Song is Another Magic. All links to the various channels down below, so, you can check out those channels yourself. I've decided I'm going to go ahead and do this Booktube challenge, this Booktube tag, because it sounded interesting and I wanted to do it. That's pretty much it. That's the entire logic that went behind it. So let's get started. Question number 1. How often do I DNF, and what makes me DNF? I do not DNF often. This channel has seen me DNF a couple books before, but honestly, I need help to DNF. I kind of want to steal a saying from Jess Book Girl's TV channel and say DNF's not my DNA, but I do have my limits. The only book I can think of that I DNF for sure on this channel is The Feral Detective. And to answer the second part of the question, most of the time I DNF a book, it's because I go into a book I'm not mentally prepared for. I have not DNF'd way worse books, but a book that is bad and I really was not expecting it to be this bad, I have trouble finishing. I would say apart from that, the only other type of book that gets me to the point that I have to DNF it is a book that is just so boring I can't finish it. Like right now I'm reading something on Kindle Unlimited and I'm trying my hardest to finish it, but it's so unengaging and it's like I don't want to DNF it. I'm almost there, but I can't. It's like a struggle to just sit there and read it for long periods of time. But yeah, that's my answer to the first question. Question 2. Do you rate books 1 star? Okay, so I don't really use the 1 to 5 star rating system. I use my own 1 to 10 because I find it more versatile than, 1 to 5. To me, it seems weird because if I rate a book 3 stars, I could mean that it's okay, but I could also mean that it's good but not great. So I used my own 1 to 10 rating system because it's more versatile, because I'd be using 3.5 stars, 2.5 stars way too often to justify using the 5 star. So the question would be, have I ever rated a book 1 to 2 stars, I believe? And the answer is not yet. In my opinion, there are very few books that should be rated 1 or 2 stars. The 1 star I reserve for, like, how did this book, this isn't even a book. I found this in the trash covered in gunk, and for some reason I thought it had words on it. That's my level of 1. 2 is, it's a published book, but it's just so terrible that I'm like, who looked at this? There was no sane person who could look at this book and think it's a good book, or this book has something to it. And I can honestly say I've never ran into those yet. And I guess before I delve further into the question number 3. What is a 2-star book for you? Well, Daniel X. Or Melancholy Magic. I believe that's one of the ones I've rated really low. These books are rated so low because they are just awful. There are different kinds of awful. Melancholy Magic got under my skin a lot because it uses constant repetition to the point that someone had the same conversation 3 times throughout the book. 3 times the same conversation happened. I'm calming myself down. Or it's something like Daniel X, where the idea is fine, but it's just so facile, so bland, so pathetic. There's just so much. There's nothing wrong with the concept, but the way they execute it is just so awful that I hate it. honestly, Patterson might end up my enemy before the year is up with as many of his books as I'm reading. I'm like, how is this dude ever made it to the New York Times bestsellers list? And I know how. He's a marketing exec who's pretending to be an author, apparently. But yeah, it's basically books that I think on any other day it would just be awful. That they're either aiming at a very specific audience that they believe is easy to trick into buying, like Night Flight, or, Last Layover, where it's very specifically aimed at a certain audience who won't care about the quality of the book, only that the book spouts what they believe. Or it's a book that it's just badly written. Its execution is so flawed that it ruins the core concept that they're going for. Question number 4. What is a 3-star book for you? Now, for me, this is generally a book between 5 and 6. And this generally means that the book was, in terms of 5, it was very meh. I didn't hate the book, but I didn't love the book. It's a very middle of the road. I could probably say nice things about it, but I could probably criticize it. Or it's just one of those books that I'm just like, complete blank face the entire time I'm reading it. Oh no. Or I'm reading what's supposed to be an exciting climax where the villains and the heroes are finally colliding in this supposed to be epic fight, and all I can do is sit there and think, okay. As for a 6 is more of a case of, this book is good. I enjoyed the book, but I don't think I would call it good. It would be at most a guilty pleasure, something I'd return to and read for the enjoyment of it, but, objectively, critically, I would just sit back and be like, I could probably find more faults with this than I could good things. It's sort of like White House Down, to put it to a movie sense. I love watching White House Down because it's just dumb fun for me. I can probably sit there and tell you a whole bunch of things wrong with it critically, but it's just on a pure enjoyment level, I just have a lot of fun while watching it. Number 5. What does 4 stars mean to me? 4 stars means to me typically a 7 or an 8. This is where we're getting into the book is good, but I wouldn't call it great or amazing, generally. 7 is typically more on that good front, and 8 is more on that, ooh, it is so close. Depending on my mood, I may even call it great, but there's just something wrong with it. There's just something that pulls it back just enough. I do have books that go beyond that. Books that, no matter my mood, I'm like, this is a great book. This is just amazing. I would highly recommend it to anyone. That's ultimately what a lot of my rating system is based on, is how would I recommend this to other people? Since that's what a rating system's for. 1 to 2 is I legitimately could not recommend this to anyone. It's also what determines what goes into Mount Doom, for if you guys are curious. It's if I rate something like 4 but still throw it into Mount Doom, that's because I legitimately am not sure who I could recommend this for that they would enjoy it. Just that when I read it, I can maybe see why someone likes it, but I really don't know who I'd recommend it for. Again, it's what a lot of my rating system is based on, is how well I can recommend it to someone else. Generally. Obviously, there's some exceptions. But for 7 or 8 stars is generally where I say, I can generally recommend this if you're looking for something like this. Not just in general. Like, I'm looking for a good book to read. Oh, you need to read Yellowface. Because that was one of my 9-star books. Well, my 9 out of 10 books. So, number 6. Do I ever do half-star ratings? I kind of already answered this question. No. Very specifically because I created I didn't create the 1 out of 10. I used the 1 to 10 star rating, so I don't have to use the 0.5s. Number 7. Do I rate 5-star books often? What do 5-star books do to make them rate that high? I really don't do it often. I think of the entire time I've done this channel, I've rated 3 books 9 out of 10 stars. That is Yellowface, The Fox Woman, and The Land. And if I go beyond that, I can only ever think of one other book that would rate a 9, and that would be Beacon 23 by Hugh Howey. Now, generally, like I said, this kind of ties into what I said earlier. Depends on how I would recommend it. If I get to a 9 or 10 stars, this book is near perfection for me. I can recommend this book to anyone. Yay, I'm looking for something to read. Oh, you need to read Beacon 23. Oh, you need to read Yellowface. Oh, you should totally read The Foxwood. Because I think a lot of it's very good. I think that it's a great gateway into that genre. I think it's an exemplary book for what it is. Question number 8. Has your ratings of books changed over the years? I guess. Yeah, I used to use the 1 out of 5 stars a lot back when I was the only system I knew, but when I found the 1 out of 10 stars, it's kind of what I've stuck to since then. I do kind of have to use it on Goodreads still, so it does kind of still swap back and forth, but yeah, it hasn't really changed all that much. Question number 10. Where do I record my ratings? I actually record it physically and on Goodreads. Well, kind of on Goodreads, because Goodreads is still 5 stars. But back in the year 2021, I wanted to keep track of what I was reading, since, as you can see, I have a rather expansive library behind me. And I have trouble remembering sometimes, so I generally write it down right here. Now, in the year 2021, I didn't really write down the ratings, but then as I started to do my channel, I started to record the ratings like right here on the sides. So that way I would know. Oh, well, I read this and, oh, okay, I liked it. Kind of thing, you know? Generally, once I read the title, I can somewhat remember reading it, but sometimes it does require, remembering something does require me to actually read a few lines before I'm like, okay, yeah, now I remember it. So yeah, apart from that, I don't know anything else. I do believe that this is the part where I'm supposed to tag some people. And since I've technically already gave 3 people out, but they've already done the book, I guess I'll just stick with my standard. I'll go ahead and tag T.A. Summers. I'll tag David's book reviews if it goes up at a reasonable time. I'll tag I'll tag someone who comments on my videos quite frequently. I'll tag Sarah. I don't know if she does Booktube tags. I watch her channels from time to time, but I'm trying to remember if she does tags. Probably gonna cut all this because it sounds really offensive, because I do watch her channel. I'm struggling to remember. Anyways, and you know what? For now, that'll be all I tag. Try to shake it up. I probably won't tag these same people on the channel, on the thing I'm going to do later. I'm not very good at tagging people, so I apologize. I know I tag the same people all the time, and that is, again, sorry. But for the time being, that's what I'll say. I'm glad you sat around and watched this video. Just remember, every book comes an adventure, and every adventure is worth having, even the bad ones. See you later, everyone.